All right, today we're going to learn about 2.1, which is understanding place value. Okay, first part of the assignment, you're going to complete problems 1 and 2 on journal page 37. Then you're going to talk with the partner about the problems you notice, or talk about with the partner about the patterns you notice and the values of the 2 and the 6 in each number. We were going to do problem 1 today as a class or in this video, and then you're going to do number 2 on your own. Talk about with a partner to determine the pattern you notice with the 2 and the 6 in it. Okay, so let's jump right in. First part of your assignment, you have to write the value or determine what place value the 2 is in each of these numbers. Okay, so let's look at the 2 here. What place value is that 2 in? All right, well, to solve that or to determine that, you have to look at this 2. Okay, what place value that 2 in? It's all by itself. It's in the ones digit. So then you just write the 2 as 2. Okay, now what you have to do is you have to look at the 2 in this one. What place value is that 2 in? Well, the 3 is in the ones, so the 2 is in the tens, because it goes ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, hundred thousands, or ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions. Okay, so the 2 is in the tens place, so we write our 2, because that's what we're looking for, and then we just add a 0 in the ones place. We don't put the 3, we add a 0, because that 2 is in the tens place, in the tens digit. Okay, now we got to look at here. Here's our 2. Okay, well, the 0 is in the ones, the 3 is in the tens, so the 2 is in the hundreds, so we just add our 2 and we just place a 0 for the 3 and we place a 0 for the zeros, so it's 200. That 2 is in the hundreds place value. Okay, let's look at the 2 here. Okay, ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, so that 2 is in the thousands, so you add your 2, replace the other numbers with a 0, so it's 2,000, because that 2 is in that thousands place value. Okay, last one, let's look at the 2. We have ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000. Okay, so that 2 is in the 10,000, so you add your 2, replace all the other numbers with a 0. Add comma after the first 3 zeros. Okay, so that 2 is in the 20 would be written as 20,000 because it's in the 10,000s place value. Okay, now you are going to do number 2 on your own. You have 65,000, 6,500, 650, 65, and 6, and you're going to write what place value is that 6 in each of those numbers. When you get done with that, we're going to go on to the second part. Okay, the next part says, number 3 on page 37 says, write these numbers in expanded form. Okay, we're going to use this one as an example. So we have 2,387,926. Okay, we have to write this in expanded form. When you write your number in expanded form, it looks like this. Okay, we're going to start with the farthest left number first. So we're going to start with our 2. What place value is that 2 in? Let's look. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, 1 million. So it's in the 1 millionth place value. So we take our 2 and we're going to times it by the place value, which is 1 million. Okay, and if you notice, I'm going to put grouping symbols around that. That's our very first part. Okay, you have a times sign in your grouping symbols. So in your grouping symbols, you put a times sign. Outside the grouping symbols, you always put a plus, because we're going to add each place value up. We're going to add our millions place value to our 100,000s place value. Then add that to the 10,000s. Then the thousands, hundreds, tens, ones. You're adding all your place values up. Okay? So then let's go to the next one. What's our next number in our problem? Our next number is a 3. So we're looking at this 3 right now. Okay? That 3 is in the ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. So we're going to take our 3 and and we're going to times it by the place value it's in, which is 100,000. Okay, so I put my times sign in my grouping symbol. I'm going to put my plus sign outside. All right, now we have to look at our 8. So 8 times, so we're looking at the 8. What place value is that in? 1, 2, ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000. So our 8's in the 10,000s. So we take 8 times 10,000. Got my times sign in the grouping symbols, my plus sign out. Okay, now let's go on to the next one. Our next number is 7. So we're going to take 7 times ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. So we're going to take it times 1,000. So it's 7 times 1,000. Okay, got my times sign in the grouping symbol, my plus sign out. Put my other grouping symbol. Now we're going to look at the 9. That 9's in the ones, tens, hundreds. So we take 9 times 100. Got my times sign in the grouping symbols, my plus sign out. Now let's go on to our next one, and you keep doing this until you use all of your numbers. Okay, we have 2 numbers left. Okay, so our next number is 2. So we write 2 times, and that is in the ones, tens place value. So 2 times 10. Okay, put my grouping symbols, put my plus sign out. Okay, now we do the 6. So 6 times, we have 1. Okay, it's in the ones place value. So 6 times 1, grouping symbol. Okay, and that's all you do. I've used all my numbers. I'm done. This is how you write 2,387,926 in expanded form. Expanded form means we're expanding it out. We're making it bigger. Okay? Now if you notice here, look at the zeros in all of my problem. This first one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. How many zeros does this have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 0. So each one, the number of my zeros goes down 1. So I started with 6 to 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1 to 0. That's how you know if you're doing it correctly. Okay? So that is how you write a number in expanded form. All right, last. We are going to take a number that's expanded form, and we're going to write it in standard notation. Okay? So they give you, write these numbers in standard notation. Now, expanded form means we're going to expand it out. Standard notations means we're going to make it back smaller into just a number. Okay? So we have 3 10,000s plus 2,000s plus 500s plus 7 10s plus 9 1s. This is another way of writing expanded notation. Okay? So we're going to look at this first. 3, it's in the 10,000s, so we need to put our 3 over here. Okay? The 2 is in the thousands, so we add our 2 here. Okay? And then we put our comma. Then we have our 5 in the 100 spot. We have a 7 in the 10 spot. We have a 9 in the 1 spot. So this is how you write 3 10,000s plus 2,000s plus 500s plus 7 10s plus 9 1s in standard notation. You just rewrite it as a number. So it's 32,579. Okay? So I showed you how to determine place value, number 1 and 2. I showed you how to do expanded form. That'll be number 4 or number 3 on your page 37. There's 2 examples, and then there's 3 examples of where they give it to you in expanded form, and you got to change it back to standard notation, which is just the number. Okay? All right. One thing I want to show you before we end this video. I want to show you different ways to write expanded form. So they give you the example of 65,582. Here are the different ways to write expanded form. They have 6 10,000s plus 5,000s plus 500s plus 8 10s plus 2 1s. That's one way how you write it, where you just write the number plus you write out the words of what place value it's in. Okay? They have another way here where they do 6 10,000s. That's kind of like the way I did it, except they just put the grouping symbols around the 10,000 and they didn't put the time sign. Okay? If they have a number 6 by the place value, that's still taking it by multiplication. Okay? So this is still multiplication. If you notice, every one we've worked with, there's a plus between each set of numbers. So we have 6 10,000, so 6 times 10,000s in other words, plus 5 times 1,000, plus 5 times 100, plus 8 times 10, plus 2 times 1. So that's another way. Another way of doing it is where you just put the place value, kind of like how we did up in problems 1 and 2. 60,000 plus 5,000 plus 500 plus 80 plus 2. All of these are different ways on how to write expanded form, and then here's the way I showed you how. 6 times 1,000 plus 5 times 1,000 plus 5 times 100 plus 8 times 10 plus 2 times 1. All of those are all different ways you can write expanded form for a number. Okay, it's all the same number, it's just different ways of writing it. Not one way is wrong. As long as you pick one of these ways, it's correct. I'm just showing you different ways to write it, so when you come up across your problem and you work on your page, you can pick one of these to solve for it.
Guys, don't get in the way.